Hello students! In this video, we're going to be talking about the simple future tenses. Before we get started, let's review what you already know about the future. I've got a sentence here. Pamela, beep, for Costa Rica tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Which one of the answers do you think is correct? And do you think there could be more than one correct answer? Please take a minute to pause the video while you think about this and write down all of the answers that you think are correct for filling in the blank. Okay, so we're back and here are the answers. The first answer that's correct is B, is going to leave. And the second answer that's correct is E, will leave. Okay? Both of these answers are correct and the other answers are incorrect because they have incorrect forms, meaning we made them incorrectly. In this video, we're going to find out about the forms and you'll see why these other ones are wrong. In the sentence, what keywords do we see in the sentence above that tell us to use the future tense? Do you know? Tomorrow morning. Good. So anytime we have words like tomorrow, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, we know we're going to use future tense. Do you know any other keywords that we use with future tenses? So what other words besides tomorrow tell us to use the future? Here are a few, and you might know even more. Today, tonight, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, this week. Many times we'll say next week too, or next month. Okay, so let's focus on be going to first. Be going to is one way that we can use to talk about the future. Here we're going to form both the question and the negative sentence. So the question form starts with the WH question word sometimes. If it's a yes or no question, then we won't start with this. But if it's a WH question like what or when or where or who, we'll begin the question like that, followed by your form of be, right? Remember, be can be am, is, or are. Followed by the subject, he, she, you, etc. Going to, and finally verb base. Remember that verb base means that the verb does not change. No ed, no s, no ing, just the basic form of the verb. For the negative form, we have a subject plus our form of be, plus not, because it's negative, going to, and then of course, verb base. So they look very, very similar. The only difference is in the word order, right? The subject and be are switched in question form versus negative form. Let's look at some examples here. I've got three kind of cut up sentences, and I'd like to see if you can use the words and change the verb tense into be going to in order to make two questions, and number three is going to be a negative statement. You can pause the video while you think about this. I'm going to give you the answers right now. So here's the first one. Where is John going to play basketball this weekend, right? Notice that the form of be comes before the subject, John. Number two, why are Lucy and Patty going to leave class early today, right? Here we don't use is, but we use are. Do you know why? Because our subject is plural, Lucy and Patty. In other words, they. And finally, number three, I am not going to come to school next Monday. This is a negative sentence. Notice here the subject is first, then our form of be, followed by not and going to. Okay, now let's talk about the other way to talk about the future, which is will, right? Will is a very easy way to talk about the future. Again, we'll do question form starting with a WH, followed by will, subject, and verb base, okay? Again, notice that both will and be going to are followed by verb base, the basic form of the verb. In the negative form, we start with the subject, followed by will not or won't, Won't is a contraction. And then verb base once again. If we have a short answer for the question, so for example, if I say, will you come to the park with us? You can say, yes, I will, or no, I won't. Okay, so this is a short answer to answer the question. I'd like you to think about how you could ask and answer these questions, right? So imagine this person is asking a question and this person is answering the question. You can pause your video while you think about it, but please ask and answer these 3 questions. You can write it down if you like. Okay, so number 1, will you study for the next grammar quiz? I hope that your answer is, yes, I will. Number 2, will we have school on Thanksgiving Day? Again, hopefully your answer is, no, we won't. And number 3, what will you eat for lunch today? It's not a yes or no, right? It's a WH question word, so you'll have to tell us what you'll eat for lunch today. I will eat a turkey sandwich, I think. Okay, so you've seen already some contractions, right? Will not can become won't. These are called contractions. Will is often used in speaking with contractions. So for when we talk, we'll normally say something like I'll instead of I will, right? When we talk, we'll usually use the contraction form. So I will in the contracted form is I'll. What about you will? You will. She will. She'll. He will. He'll. Oops, that should say it will. It'll. We will. We'll. And they will. They'll. So again, these are all the contraction forms. When you're speaking, you should try and use them to sound a little bit more natural in English. I have a question for you. Is it okay to use contractions in a formal writing assignment? So let's say you're writing a paragraph or an essay for your college class. Can we use contractions? The answer is no, right? In a formal writing assignment, we want to avoid using contractions, so don't use contractions. What about if you're writing an email? Do you think it's okay to use contractions? Yeah, that's fine, right? Because an email is not formal. Okay, a little bit of practice for you here. Each of the sentences either uses will or be going to on the left side. I want you to change the sentences to the other type. So for example, this one used will, so you change it to be going to. This one uses be going to, so you change it to will over here. Again, you can pause the video while you think about the answers. I'm going to give you the answers in just a moment. Here are the answers. Number 2, he will not attend the meeting on Thursday. Number 3, will you cook spaghetti for dinner tonight? Number 4, I hope she isn't going to give us a lot of homework this weekend. Make sure to check your form. Make sure you don't have any S over here. Make sure that your subject and verb are in the correct place in the sentence. That's going to be really important. And if you have any questions about that, you can feel free to email me. Okay, so after we've talked about the form and we've practiced using each of these constructions in sentences, many students ask me this question. So we have be going to and we have will to talk about the future. What's the difference, right? That's a great question, and we're going to talk about it right now. Will and be going to have some overlap, meaning sometimes they do the same thing, but other times they do different things. So other times it's important that we choose the correct one if we're talking about different situations. So to talk about predictions about the future, do you think we'll use be going to or will? We will use be going to talk about predictions about the future, and also will, right? So we can use both of these. There's no difference. What about a decision made before? Like, let's say you decided to go on a trip a long time ago and you bought the ticket like a month ago. You made this decision before this moment. Would you use be going to or will? What do you think? We use be going to. In this situation, it's incorrect to use will. Okay, how about this one? Decision made just now, right? So you made the decision right now at this moment of speaking. Maybe you're in a restaurant and the waiter asks you, what would you like? And you could say, I beep soup. Would you use be going to or will in that sentence? Here we will use will. Be going to would just sound weird to us to use. So these are just a few of the rules of the differences between will and be going to. So you'll be able to know when to use each one. Here's a little bit of practice for you, okay? In each of the blanks, I'd like you to think about the rules we learned in the chart above. Fill in the blanks with either be going to or will. You can take a moment to think about it. Please pause the video and write down your answers. Okay, and here are the answers. Whoop. She, beep, moved to Mount Prospect next week. Okay, do you think be going to or will? I think be going to, because the decision had to be made before if she's going to move. She did not make it right now, and it's not a prediction. Number 2, thanks for your number. I beep call you tonight. In this one, I think the answer is will, because the decision was made just now. Just now I got your number, and so just now I've decided that I'm going to call you tonight. I didn't decide to call you last week or last month, right? Number 3, all cars, beep, be self-driving in 10 years. Will or be going to? Actually, both. This is a prediction about the future, so we can use either will or be going to, right? If we use be going to, we need to change all cars are going to be self-driving. And the last one, number 4, if you cook, beep, do the dishes. Sound good? For this one, I would definitely use will. It's a decision made just now, right? I'm offering something at the moment of speaking, right? If you cook, I'll do the dishes. Sound good? All right, students, so I hope that helped you understand a little bit more about the future simple tenses, both be going to and will, how to form them, and also when to use them. What's the difference between the two? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.